My mom, Ginny Halsey, married Chef when I was about 17 years old. We've always lived here almost my whole life, and I think my earliest memory of the VNA being a part of my family's life would be my biological father, Joe. He had Lou Gehrig's disease, and we had the VNA come into our home. Linda Brenner was actually the nurse that came to our house. And I remember that, being 9 years old and having the VNA come into our home and care for not only my father, but for my family. He since passed, and years later, my mom and Chef joined, and his wife, I believe also, Louise, was part of the VNA services. She received services at home too. So both families were impacted by the genuine caring of the VNA. So I also remember as a young child going to do the child clinics that the VNA would offer to community members. That went on for years, where my mom and I would go because I was her little sidekick, and they would offer child checkups, vaccinations. It was just a really great service that they offered to the community. That went on for years. So those are two things that really stand out in my head as being a part of the VNA and how much it meant to my family. Then as the years went on, my mom volunteered at the Renaissance shop, and Chef just kind of tagged along with my mom and was just always part of that team. When it was time for them to move out of the farmhouse in Wilmot, I think, they were moving because they were getting older and they needed to find something more centrally located in New London, something that was easier for them. And I think it was just natural for them to want to be able to give back to an organization that meant so much to them. So that is how they decided that what better organization to donate the house to than Lake Sunapee VNA. They loved their community. They loved where they lived. They loved their gatherings of family and friends. And what better place around here? I mean, it's beautiful, and they enjoyed their summers on Pleasant Lake, going to the Barn Playhouse. They just adored this area and adored the people that lived here. And I think that's why I personally came back to live here, is why wouldn't I? It's an amazing place to raise a family. And Chef was very involved with Dartmouth Hitchcock, the VNA. He was always trying to, always helping others. My mom, same, but I think her main focus was the VNA. She loved it. She worked at the Renaissance shop. And everything that it did for the community and what the VNA did for the community. So Chef's family is originally from upstate New York, and he and his wife moved here years ago and bought the farmhouse. Their children were older, and they didn't grow up in this farmhouse. They were already older and married. My mom and my father moved here from Manchester, New Hampshire, and raised me. I'm the youngest of 6, and they raised me in Danbury, New Hampshire. And so, Wilmot and Danbury. And then when my father passed away and Louise passed away, Mom and Chef had always known each other from going to Immaculate Conception Church in Potter Place. I think they always just kind of had an eye for each other, and one thing led to the next, and here we are. So those two were amazing.
Thanks, Amy. Isn't it a small world? Coming up next, Andy and Dorothy Jeffrey will tell us about the Sutton steeple dropping.